Good morning, guys. It is day 20. Wake up. It's time for some math. You guys know I'm a morning person. All right, today we are going to continue our review with decimals. We've added, we subtracted, we multiplied, and now we are dividing. We're going to review dividing decimals. We know that there are some rules that you must remember. We'll start with dividing a decimal by a decimal. I've got some practice here so we can talk about kind of what we are supposed to do when we are dividing a decimal by a decimal. Now, the first thing you do is as your divisor has to become a whole number, okay? We want to move it to a whole number. It makes everything a lot easier. So to move this decimal, or to move this number to a whole number, I would move the decimal over one place because there's only one digit. So to move it there. Now, if you move in the divisor, you must also move the decimal over in the dividend. So now we went from having decimals, we got a decimal at the end here, okay? We know that we have whole numbers, a whole number here and a whole number here. But the decimal still is at the end of that number. I want to remember that. Remember, if it's a whole number, we assume that there's a decimal at the end of it always, okay? Now, we just divide. After we have moved our decimals in our dividend, or in our divisor and in our dividend, we divide to find our quotient, and it goes at the top. 6 goes into 7 one time. That will be 1. Bring it down. 6 goes into 13 2 times. Minus 12, that's going to be 1. And then last but not least, 6 goes into 12 2 times. Minus 12, there is zeros here, so your quotient would be 122. And I can move this a little bit closer here so you guys can see. This is what we did. We moved our decimal, the places we needed to, and then we just divided. So our quotient here would be 122. All right, now the next division problem that we are going to practice is another one, dividing a decimal by a decimal. But as you can see here, the divisor is smaller than, or the dividend is smaller than the divisor. So we are going to end up having to use some placeholders. We've talked about that. We don't have remainders. We always want to kind of end a decimal at 0. So let's do first things first. We're going to move our decimal 1 2 spots over. Okay, so this becomes just the 5. And then if we move it 2 there, we got to go 1 2 here. So of course that becomes just 2. So 5 will not go into 2. Since we cannot divide 5 into 2, we bring our decimal up. Remember, when the decimal's in the house, raise it to the roof. So we bring our decimal up, and then we add a new place, a place value. So now we're going to pretend that decimal isn't there, and 5 goes into 20 4 times. And then we multiply. 5 times 4 is 20, and we subtract. So now we have 0, so our quotient is 4/10. You'll see here, we started with decimal 0.5, of course, and we moved our decimal 2 times, and then it just becomes just a whole number 2. 5 cannot go into 2. You cannot divide 5 into 2, so we had to add us a new place value, of course, after bringing our decimal up. I hope that refreshes your memory a little on that. We have done that in class. We learned that in class, and we practiced that quite a bit, but we haven't used it in a little while, so I definitely want to review and make sure that you guys understand it. Now, the last problem I'm going to go over is a word problem, okay? It says, who sells the lowest price for a bottle of cola? So we have store A sells a 6-pack for $3.45. Store B sells a 12-pack for $5.25, and then Store C sells a 24-pack for $10.99. The question asks us, who sells the lowest price for a bottle? Well, we get 6 bottles for $3.45. We get 12 bottles for $5.25, or we get 24 bottles for $10.99. It wants to know who sells the lowest for an individual bottle. So to figure that out, of course, you have to take this $3.45 that you pay for all 6 of these, and then we have to divide it by 6 because there's 6 bottles in that. And for us to figure out the individual bottle's price, or per bottle, we have to divide it by the 6. Now, this one is a whole number, so we don't have to worry about moving our decimal over any. All we have to remember is the decimals in the house. Go ahead and raise it to the roof. 6 will not divide into 3, so 34 divided by 6 is going to be 24, 30, so it'll be 5. 6 times 5 is 30, and then we subtract. And then we bring it on down. And then we bring it on back. How many times does 6 go into 45? 7 times. 6 times 7 is 42. Of course, there's a remainder here on this one. But since it's asking us just for the price of a bottle, we know that this is 57 cents per bottle. As you can see, that one is 57 cents per bottle. But the question asks, which is the lowest? So we can't just figure out one of these. We are going to have to figure out the price per bottle for each of these, and then decide which is the lowest. So this one is a 12-pack, of course. Bring the decimal up, bring it to the roof. And then we have 12 goes into 52 4 times, which is 48. Goes into 45, 12, 24, 36, 48. So this one would be 43 cents per bottle, and this is 57. So far, which of these would be the lowest or the smallest price? It would be the 12-pack as of now. But we have one more that we have to solve. We have 24-pack, and that is for $10.99. Of course, there's no decimal on the outside, so we bring it up. 24 goes into 109. Let's try 5 times. Nope, that's too much. So it'll be 24 times 4, 16. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So that would be 4 times that. It goes into 109. Then you would subtract 96. Now, I want you to pay close attention here because this causes some of us issues sometimes. It is 109 is the top number, but 24 multiplied by 4 is only 96. So I still put the 6 under the first number or the last number furthest to the left, or furthest to the right of the numbers that I'm subtracting. So 9 minus 6, and then I would have this 0 minus 9. Now there would not be a number here because there's not 3 digits in the number that I've got when I multiplied. So we would subtract 9 minus 6 is 3, 10 minus 9 is 1, and then of course we have to bring down our last digit. So 24 goes into 139. I already calculated over there 5 times. So it would be minus 120 and 45 cents. So 12-pack is 45 cents per bottle. 6-pack is 57 cents per bottle. and the 12 pack is only 43 cents per bottle. So the store with the lowest price per bottle would be store B. And those types of word problems we have to be able to solve. Multi-step word problems, okay? When I write out my answer, my final answer to this, of course it says, who sells the lowest price for a bottle of cola? I would say store B, sells the lowest price. You guys know I like a complete answer at the end. Those are type things that you're going to be doing today. Make sure to take your time. Make sure to remember the rules dividing the decimals. If it's just a decimal in the house, all you got to do is raise it to the roof. If it is a decimal on the outside, or the divisor and the dividend on the inside, you have to move it the same amount on the outside as you do on the inside. So make sure to move them both when you move the decimal. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If you need any help, let me know.